So today we're going to start with a chapter called ray optics. What we call the chapter? The chapter name is what? Ray optics. Okay, let us see now this chapter, ray optics. So there are a few questions we are going to discuss now, and we are going to cover the concept along with the questions. Okay, so that you are going to have a complete idea of this chapter. Okay.
Yes, I hope I am audible to all of you and my audio is clear to all of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, my audio is clear to all of you. Use microphone. I'm using a microphone. I'm using a headphone here now. Yes. Okay. So Revant is not there, right? He will join. So Sagar, now it is audible clearly, the voice.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Yeah. So we're going to cover questions along with the topics. So now I would like to go with this one now. First is question number 1. So what question number 1 is asking us, the refractive index of a piece of transparent quartz is greatest. They're asking what now? Related to refractive index they're asking. So which material doesn't matter here. So refractive index formulas are what now? If you look at, if I glance the refractive index of formulas, so refractive index is given by one formula C by V, means it is the ratio of speed of light in air or vacuum to the speed of light in medium. Another formula is what now? V2 by V1, ratio of speed of light in one medium with respect to another medium. Okay, so if I'll go for this again, N is what now? Formula sine I by sine R. That is using what now? Snell's law. And you have used this formula N1 lambda 1 equal to N2 lambda 2. There is a one more formula for refractive index. Which basically refractive index is what now? It will give us an idea about now the what way, means how much the light ray is going to bend. So since they are asking us which is the greatest and they are given here at different colors. So since they are given a colors, I'll go with what now? I'll go with the wavelength of the color. So from this formula, if I look at, can I write like this? N is proportional to 1 by lambda. Means the refractive index of a given material is inversely proportional to wavelength of the given light. So if there is a more wavelength and there will be a less refractive index, so how can we visualize this? If you just look at the prism, okay, dispersion is going to occur in prism, right? As dispersion is going to occur in the prism, if you send a white light, so what will happen? The light is going to split, right? So no, light is going to split. It will be like this. So it is a violet and this is a red. So which one is bending more? Violet is bending more. It's because the reason is violet is having a high refractive index. Means which light is having a high refractive index, which bend more, which is having a less refractive index, bend less. So here red is having what now? Less refractive index. So then if red is having a less refractive index, definitely its wavelength will be more and its wavelength will be less. So now they're asking us greatest, okay, highest refractive index for what now? This should be what now? It should be in this case. Look at now which curve we should find out now. So if I go from down, V, I, B, G, Y, O, or V by R. So lowest for red, highest for what now? Violet. So violet. So is the right answer for us. Okay. So that is the highest wavelength, okay, highest refractive index. Sir, what if they ask you instead of greatest, smallest, you should go for red light, least N. So this is highest, maximum. So in between these two, there are these three, green and yellow, and you can have this pattern. Using this pattern, you can find which one is more, which one is less in these two. Okay, so now this question is clear. The refractive index highest depends how it is depends on now inversely proportional to wavelength. If it is the highest wavelength, least refractive index. If it is the least wavelength, highest refractive index. So that's the one thing. Okay, so this question is clear. Can I go for next question? Yes. Okay, the PPT what I'm showing is visible clearly to all of you. Yes. Okay. So there are two mirrors are there. There are two mirrors placed the right angle to each other. Okay. So if I take a two mirrors, let me take a two mirrors now. Like these two mirrors are there. I'm going to place them what now? I'm going to place them right angle to each other. The angle between them is how much, students? 90 degree. A man is standing between them, combing his hairs. He is going to comb his hairs now. Okay, he's standing where now? In between these two mirrors. Now he is going to comb his hairs. As he's going to comb, okay, now we are going to find now how many images will be seen. So how many number of images are going to form, that we need to find out. That is the thing. So before solving this question, I would like to give an idea to you, the concept to you. Okay, if you know the concept, you can solve any this type of questions very well. Let me go behind the concept first. What is the concept, sir? See, always if you have taken a two mirrors, if you kept at some certain angle between them, then how many number of images are going to form, that I'm going to discuss now. Okay, so first I'm going to find out m equal to 360 degree divided by theta. This formula should remember now. Okay, so this formula. Next I'm going to take now where the position of the object means where the person is going to stand in between them. So in between them as symmetrically or asymmetrically. So I'm going to take now position. Position of what now? Position of object. And then I'm going to give now how many number of images are going to form. Number of images are going to form. Let's say it is n number of images. See, if I find first 360 degree by theta, if it is even number, if it is what now? If it is even number, okay. Now the person can stand anywhere in between these two mirrors. Now doesn't matter. Anywhere means either on symmetric line. This is the called a symmetric line. Symmetric line. This is what we call. So or anywhere outside his stand means asymmetric. So if it is even number, anywhere it is symmetric line or asymmetric line, wherever, doesn't matter. Okay, number of images are going to form how many? M minus 1. These are the number of images. Always if it is even number, anywhere here, let him stand on a symmetric line or asymmetric anywhere. So you should take less than 1. Means like if it is there, no, M is there, no, take one value less. It will be M minus 1 images. Sir, what if this number M is odd? If it is odd, there are two cases will come here. The first case will come here, what now? Symmetric. Means what now? The person is standing symmetrical line on this line. Means the line is exactly dividing that. So then the number of images are going to form how many? Again, M minus 1. So if he is not standing on a symmetric line, he is standing somewhere else, like let me say asymmetric. So it is asymmetric. Then the number of images will be M. You are no need to subtract anything now. How much M you will get? You just put M. Sir, what if the fraction is? Like I'm going to get 360 by degree, 360 degree by theta is fraction. Then you need to round off to any even number. Okay, let him stand anywhere. Let him stand anywhere. You just round it off to lower number. Like example, sir, I got 7.5 or I got 7.3. So lower number, round it off to what now? 7 now. 7 is what now? Even number, odd number, odd number. Again, now we need to look at it symmetric or asymmetric. If it's symmetrically standing, take M minus 1. If it's standing apart from the symmetric line, take M. Okay, so this table is clear to all of you now. So I request all of you to please mention this table. This table is very important. This table is clear. Okay, now look at now. Our case is now what now? Where theta is the angle between two mirrors. So look at now. I'm going to solve my question now. So theta is how much is given? Theta is given 90 degree. Let me find now m. M equal to what formula? 360 degree by m. Okay, theta. So it is 360 degree divided by 90. So 0 is going to cancel. It will be 4. So we got m equal to what? M is 4. Look at the table. M is even, right? M is even. Then the number of images are going to form how many? M minus 1. Anywhere let him stand. It is 1 less value. So n equal to m minus 1. So it is 4 minus 1. It is 3. The number of images how many? 3. So this question is clear to all of you. Like how to solve. Neeraj. Okay. Yes, sir. 1 minute. So now next question is what now? Question number 3. Question number 3 is saying that what now? In a room containing a smoke particles. What is containing now? Room containing smoke particles now. Okay. The intensity due to the source of light will, they ask, what will happen? Okay. So here what is going to obey inverse square law? It is going to be all constant. So increase with the distance, never be possible. Okay, fall faster with the distance from the source than the inverse fourth power law. So here the answer is it is going to fall with the inverse fourth power law. Okay. It is going to fall with faster with what now? Inverse fourth square law. That is, you should remember, like a room containing what now? Different smoke particles. So intensity will fall to the 1/4, like fourth power, not 1/4, fourth power. Just need to remember this one. Okay. So let us go for next idea, next question. Look at now. The image formed by concave mirror is. Now we need to have a question. Now when we have a question like this, we need to remember completely on what now? Completely on. So all the different types of image formed by the concave mirror. Okay, now in the case of concave mirror, what are the possible cases now? Okay, if I take a first case. So this is like a concave mirror now. Yeah. So this is focus point. This is center of curvature. Now I'm going to draw some diagrams here. So if you keep an object at infinity, where is going to form an image? On focus, right? When the object is infinity, the light ray from infinity is going to form an image on where now? It's going to form an image on focus point, that we know. This like this. Now I'll take now. If the object is where now? Before where now? Before C means like in between infinity and C. Okay, object is going to form what now case? Now this is F, this is C, and now this is infinity. Now the object is somewhere here. So it is going to form an image where now? It is going to form an image in between what and what? C and F. It is going to form an image in between what and what? C and F. This you learned already in the previous classes. Even in the class 8 you learned. Okay. So now they're asking, see all these cases now, if I look at the cases one by one, look at the cases now. So that given it is always real. The first question is given, answer is given what now? It is always real. Is it possible always real? Of course, these two cases what I wrote, it is all real. But if I place this mirror, this object between the pole and the focus point, like this, if I'm going to place, this is the mirror, this is focus point, this is center of curvature. If I place an object here, then image is going to form like this. One light ray, one more light ray, and they extend and they're going to meet at backside somewhere here. This is what type of image it is. It is a virtual image. So I can strike out this option now. It is not always real. It is not always real. One thing. It is always virtual. No, because we have already seen first two cases here. It is there. It is not always virtual. There is a real option also is there. So it is not always virtual. Okay, if I look at the third option, see, it is certainly real if the object is virtual. Okay, the images will be real. Okay, if the object is what now? If the object is virtual. Okay, possible cases there. It is certainly virtual, not always. So it is not always virtual. It is always virtual. We cannot say certainly virtual. No, we cannot say image of certainly virtual. We cannot say, because here I can say the image is real, and here also I can say the image is real, and here I can say is what now virtual, but I cannot certainly say it is virtual only always. So is the right answer. C is the right answer. Means some cases you need to go for elimination method. Elimination of an options now by looking at the remaining options. Okay, this is what I'm going to do, go with the elimination option. Okay, so this question is clear to all of you now. Yes, let's see now. The next question is what we're going to see now. Question number 5. So like this here, what I've seen now, like same type I can ask you in the case of what now? Convex mirror also. So you need to have a workout on this convex mirror also. Means when the image is real, when the image is virtual, all those you need to work out. Okay, yes. Look at the next option, next question. A lens made of glass whose index of refraction, means refractive index, is 1.60, has a focal length 20 centimeter in air. Okay, its focus length, okay, its focal length in water, whose refractive index is almost 1.33 the given. So the given lens, right? So we need to go for what formula? Lens maker formula. 1 by f equal to mu minus 1 times of 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So do you remember all this formula? All of you? What formula it is? Lens maker's formula. Why we call lens maker's formula? I think you have studied these things, lens maker's formula. When we call it as lens, why we call this lens maker's formula? Because this formula used to make for a lenses, right? So lens maker's formula they call. So here I'm going to take now, see, radius of curvature is same, right? Can we just say then 1 by f proportional to mu minus 1? Here mu means what now? Mu means mu of glass with respect to mu of air. Okay, so that is mu Ga. That is standard thing actually it is. So if I take f is proportional to 1 by mu minus 1, this we got to know. Now there are two cases are there. One case is what now? A glass, okay, a lens made of glass whose index of reflection is 1.60, has a focal length 20. So this is like a mu of glass with respect to air, let us say. It is a focal length, let's say f1. Its focal length in water, okay, we need to find f2, whose refracted means we are going to insert the glass, where now inside the water means this is refractive index of a glass with respect to water. So now this mu g with respect to water is 1.33, or I can say now mu g by mu water is 1.33. Okay, mu g by mu water is 1.33. One sec. Question number 5, right? That's question number 5. Okay. Then I can say now this is mu water, that is equal to mu glass times by 1.33. Okay. Yes. So they're given a focal length of water. Okay, focal length in water. Whose refract? Okay, they're given number. 1 minute. I made a lot of simple confusion to you people. That confusion I'm going to clarify you now, because the confusion is what now? This is not mu GOW, because clearly mentioned that, okay, focal length in water means whose refractive index, means what is the meaning of whose refractive index? The refractive index of water, it is mu W, that is 1.33. Okay, so refractive index of glass with respect to air is how much? 1.60. Refractive index of water with respect to air, that is always given with respect to air only, it will be 1.33. Okay, so now this is just we take mu G and mu W. Now we are going to take now first case. First case, F1 is proportional to 1 by mu. What now? It is an air medium, glass with respect to air, minus 1. Correct? Second case, I'm going to take F2. F2 proportional to 1 by mu of glass with respect to water, because we are going to insert in a water, minus 1 we should take. So if I take a ratio of these two, so I'm going to find here. So F2 by F1 is equal to, their inversely proportional, right? This is mu of glass with respect to air minus 1 divided by mu of glass with respect to water minus 1. So mu of glass with respect to water, we write like mu of glass with respect to air divided by mu of water with respect to air. So I'm going to use this here. So mu of glass with respect to air minus 1 divided by mu of glass divided by mu of water. Of course, it is with respect to air only, minus 1. That is what? F2 minus F1. Now I need to find out what now? Second focal length. So I'm going to take now F2 by F1 is equal to mu of glass. How much is given? 1.60. 1.60 minus 1 divided by, these things you can do it directly. Mu of glass is how much now? 1.60 divided by mu of water, 1.33 minus 1. So this is going to simplify. It is 0.60 into 1.33 divided by 1.60 minus 1.33. Because this 1.33 will take a LCM, it will come to numerator. Okay, and you're going to simplify this. You're going to get what now? You're going to get 2.95. You're going to get, that is what now? F2 by F1, you're going to get 2.95. I'm going to continue. F2 equal to 2.95 times of what now? F1. 2.95 means it will be 3, right? 3 times of F1. Going to simplify further now. Look at the options. 3 times longer than air? Of course, yes, because we got 3 times F1, right? So 2 times no. So we got an answer. These are not right answer. So it is 3 times. Okay. So here one thing you need to keep in mind. Key idea is what now? Key idea. This while taking this mu. Okay, if you insert a material in any other medium, you should take the refractive index of that material with respect to the which medium you are going to insert. So usually we now take what now? With air medium only. Okay. Yeah. So this is question is clear to all of you now. Can you move on to the next question now? Yes. Look at next question now. Which of the following is not the case? Not the case. Remember here. The given option here what now? Which of the following is not the case with the image formation by concave lens? So which is not possible case they are asking. Not the case means not possible case. Not possible they are asking. Now look at now. It may be erect and inverted. So there is a possible is there. Erect or inverted? Erect possible is there. Okay, always concave lens. Like we are going to have a concave lens, right? So this is, I'm going to have here light is going to incident like this, and it is going to diverge. Okay, they'll meet at back. Okay, so they're going to form what now? An erect image is going to form diminished. Possible. This is possible. Okay, it may be magnified or diminished. Next option is what now? It may be magnified or diminished. So diminished is possible. Here the diminished already is there. I'll go for this. Diminished possible. It may be real or virtual. If the object is real, image is virtual. If the object is virtual, image is real. So this option is also possible. So means what I'm clicking here, right? These are possible. But in the question they asked, not the case, not possible. If three are correct, then this must be wrong, right? So this is not possible case. Real image may be between pole and the focus or beyond focus. No, it never be possible. Okay, that is the case here we go for. Okay, it is going to form always what now? Virtual, diminished, and erect image is going to form. Okay, so sixth option is what? Means sixth D option is not possible case. See, this type of question you need to remember very well, because sometimes you can intentionally they'll ask you not possible cases, not allowed, like that. So you need to have a focus on those things. Okay, so reading the question also very important for us. Look at now, if you look at this question number 7, I need to go for a little bit here information to you. The information is that is not actually we do in a normal theory classes when we take especially this question. So I'll suggest you in a simple way now. The possible simple way is now. So this is like two thin lenses. We need to go for no chromatic aberration. Let us have an idea what is chromatic aberration. Chromatic aberration. So what is chromatic aberration? If I take a lens, it is a principal axis. Okay, what is going to happen? Light is going to fall. Okay, and it is not going to focus at the same point. Okay, if I take different lights, it's not going to focus at the same point. They're going to focus at different points between this point and this point. In between this point, they're going to focus. If I take a many number of letters in between here, and I'm not going to focus at single point. Okay, so means it is having some defect in the lens. Means the lens is not able to converge all the light rays to a single point. This is what we call aberration, and since this is what we call chromatic aberration. Means different colors of a light are not going to focus at same point. Chromatic means little related to what of colors. Means different colors of light is not going to focus at a single point, what we call chromatic aberration. So if it is able to focus, then what we call achromatic. So you got an idea, chromatic and achromatic. So chromatic means the lens is unable to focus all the different colors of wavelength to a single point, what we call chromatic aberration. Okay, so in this case, the lens is having some powers. Lens is having what? No, some powers. There is a lot of derivation there. I don't want to go for derivation because we are doing for a point of CET. I'll just suggest you to remember this formula. What formula you know? The formula, if you simplify this with the help of what now? Again, with the help of this lens maker formula, mu minus 1 into 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, one formula. One more formula, it is like a deviation. It is given by omega. That is what we call power of a lens is given by what formula? Mu v minus mu r divided by mu minus 1. Using these two formula, if I simplify, finally I am going to get this equation. What equation? 1 omega 1 by f1 plus omega 2 by f2 is equal to 0. Is equal to what I'm going to get? I'm going to get equal to 0. So if you remember this formula, it is enough. Okay, so from this formula I'm going to simplify. I'm going to take it right hand side. It will become what now? Omega 1 by f1 equal to minus omega 2 by f2. Anyone is matching here? Anyone is matching? Look at now, there is a second option is matching for this. So if I take now, it is f1 by f2, it is become minus omega 1 by omega 2. Omega 1 by omega 2. So it is for what type of combination? Chromatic, no, achromatic aberration. Achromatic combination. Okay, so this you need to remember. Okay, so the question is clear to all of you now? Any doubt regarding this question, students? So it's clear. Can I go for next question? Can I move on to next question? Lakshmi? Yes, sir. Okay. Let's have a look at now. The focal length of a normal eye lens. Okay. The normal eye lens focal length will be how much? Do you know? The focal length of a normal eye, that our normal eye lens, it is about 2 centimeter. When it is completely relaxed position. Okay. What position? Completely relaxed position. It is about 2 centimeter. You should remember this. Okay. And what is the least distance of distinct vision? D. 25 centimeter. It is strained eye. It is strained eye. Strained. Fully strained. It is. This is what we call least distance. Least distance of distinct vision. Okay, so this to remember, relaxed eye, the normal focal length of a human eye, it is how much? 2 centimeter is about. Okay. Now, which of the following is used in a case of optical fiber? Means which phenomena? Which phenomena, students? It is total internal reflection. TIR. So what is TIR? When the light ray enters from where to where? Denser medium to where now? Rarer medium. Okay. If the angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, then light rays bend back towards the same medium. Okay, this is what we call total internal reflection. So here there is one more concept will come, critical angle. So what is critical angle? N is given by 1 by sin C. The angle at which the incident light ray grazes the surface separating two medium, that is what we call critical angle. So what are the condition to happen this TIR? First condition is what now? The light ray must travel from denser to rarer medium. Denser to rarer medium, first thing. Second thing, the angle of incidence must be greater than critical angle. So these are the two conditions you need to remember. Okay, sir, what about here? Scattering of light means what? What is diffraction? What is refraction? So you should know these things. You need to, refraction means what? What is scattering? Okay, you need to have a look at those things also. So especially this optical fiber is worked on what basis now? Total internal reflection. Okay, is it clear? Yes. Let us have a look at the next question now. Question number 10 now. The question number 10 is asking that a parallel beam of light is incident on a converging lens. Converging lens means what lens it is? Convex lens. Okay. So it's parallel to its principal axis. Okay, I'm going to take principal axis. I'm going to have a converging lens. Okay, let me take a different light rays. Okay, let me take a direct light rays. They are going to incident on what now? A lens. Okay, so what will happen? Okay, as they move on this side, right? Like this, they are going to move. Okay, as one move away from the lens. Okay, as you're moving from here, you're going to stand here, and you're going to move away from the lens in this direction. On the other side of the principal axis, okay, the intensity of light, what will happen? Look at now, here light rays are far. Let me take intensity here I1. As you move towards the focus point here, what will happen? They are converging, right? So intensity is increasing. Let's say I2 now. So now I can say now I2 is greater than I1 because as the converging intensity is increasing. And as you move further, above means beyond even, so again they're spreading apart, means distance between them increasing. Then let's say I3, so it intensity again what not decreasing. So intensity first increases and then decreases. So which option is correct? D option is correct. Initially intensity will start increasing because they're converging, they'll focus at the point. Here it will be maximum intensity, and as you move, what will happen? Intensity go on decreases. So first increases and then decreases. Okay, so D option is the right answer. Okay, yes students, I request, okay, yes, okay,